So this video is not a professional video whatsoever. It is basically me explaining how I put this trailer up. Everybody has their own way. And I'm sorry for the bad edits. I don't have very good editing software whatsoever, and I'm taking the videos in little chunks and piecing them together. So it'll be chronologically correct when I do it. But yeah, this is the way it is. Unfortunately, I'm not a professional video person, and I will never claim to be one. I've been involved in this for over 40 years. So how did you get out? And after 40 years of putting one of these things up and putting it down, I've got pretty good at it, and I'll show you some of the tricks that I've learned over the years about the trailer. For those of you who don't know what this is a very rare folding trailer. For those of you who stumble across this on YouTube, they're not made anymore. They're very different, extremely high quality. This trailer that you're looking at right now was made in 1978, and it is still like new. It gives you an idea of the type of materials that are involved in this. They're very lightweight. This trailer will sleep 6 adults, and as you can see, I can just push it along with my hand quite easily. I can steer it about, maneuver it. You can tow it with a light car. They're only about 1,000 pounds, and they come with trailer brakes and everything on them. Just for those that may be interested, I mean, everybody on here knows this already, but for those that have stumbled across this that don't actually own one of these, this trailer has trailing independent suspension with shock absorbers and torsion bar suspension. It also has trailer brakes. It rides extremely well because of its independent suspension. For those of you in Europe, that's normal for you guys, because they just make really good quality stuff there for towing. In North America, your average tent trailer is not going to see that type of stuff. One of the things I'm going to point out is the jockey wheel. You will notice if I get in the sunshine that I tend to keep it as high as possible where the clamps onto it. Just makes less stress on it. So in terms of the steadies, we have a little kit here that we use in Tupperware. It comes with a level. We have some plexiglass pieces that I stick underneath the steadies. Just increases the footprint on them, and got 4 of those. And then for the swing arms, I have a couple of aluminum ones, and I did it out of aluminium because the plexiglass will break with the point load. So what I do is I just drilled a little center bead in there, and what it does is it just keeps the tip of the screw jack in place. And I also carry in the cooking box here, I carry a shovel. And in case I'm in a campground where the ground is a little bit too high, I dig out a spot for those, because you'll see by the way I put this up that it's very important that I can easily turn the screw jacks on the swing arms, because that's how I do my adjustment for the trailer. And the fact that you get these plates in there first, and there's that little divot, those screw arms turn really easily, whereas if they've sunken down into the ground, you can't turn them at all. So I'll sometimes carry a little shovel to give myself a little bit of a platform I can put that down into. Okay, so now that taking a bit of a pause here, I've started to put the steadies out, and these are called steadies for a reason. They're not jacks, they're just to steady the trailer. And when it's up, I like to keep as much weight as I can on the wheels when I'm camped, because the suspension is designed to carry the weight of the trailer. So for my method, I basically fold the trailer out with the base level already, which I'm pretty certain everybody does. What I do though is, before I do it, is I put the back ones down and make them a little bit tight. And the front ones are still a little loose right now, and I've got the trailer so that it is just inching towards the front a little bit. So it's hard to see here, but it's not quite level. The front needs to come up a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you fold the trailer over, the top half of the trailer, when it folds over, makes the suspension lighter, and the trailer literally lifts up a couple of inches or an inch. So you want to compensate for that ahead of time just to make your life easier. So what I do is I will now just use the front wheel here, and I will just lift the trailer up enough so that it's just starting to be level. And as you can see, that's all I needed to make it level. The other thing is, one of the things my father did when he bought this is he put some levels, he glued them on the trailer so that you can use them, and if you don't have a portable level, you can always just see them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to level the trailer so it's level this way, and also level this way, with a little bit of weight taken off the suspension, but not all the weight. I also use a level, and just to make sure, don't try to level it from the top. Level it from the body frame, like right there, if you're going to use a level, because the top folding part does not sit level when it's folded down. It's just slightly askew. So once you've got the main part of the body level and on its steadies, then you're good to go to start unfolding. You'll notice I've got the trailer weight on the wheels still. That's what the suspension is there for. Carry the weight of the trailer. Don't try to lift the wheels up when you're parked with these things. They're not designed for it. Besides, then you got to step higher to get in the trailer. Use the wheels as your support while you're camping. I use these. These are made of aluminum or aluminium, depending on what country you're from. And you'll notice that I drilled a little divot in them. That's so that the points on the bottom of these don't slide. The other thing I do is I carry a small shovel with me in case I am in a campground where I've got to make a little bit of a hole because there's a rise, or I gotta, just sort of move some stuff out of the way. It's very important for the way I put this trailer up to have these plates and have the whole divot in them. And you'll see the reason later, but it's because I use this adjustment here that we're turning as my way of getting this trailer to go together properly. Once I set up and once I got this level, I never adjust the steadies when I put the trailer up. All my adjustment is done by just one of these. One adjustment to get everything aligned. And if you don't have a plate underneath with a divot, and that swivel point is sunk into the ground and you can't turn it, then my method will not work for you. So I'm going to finish leveling those and start the video again. Okay, so I've got the trailer leveled. I've pulled the swing arms out, and I've also made them level, just with the level there. One of the things that you may want to do before you level the trailer is just pull the swing arms out and just have them out. Sometimes when you take the weight off the suspension, that inside swing arm can become a little stiff to pull out because the trailer chassis just flexes a tiny little bit, and it is a pretty tight fit in there. So I sometimes just pull them out ahead of time. Makes life a little easier. If you don't, you may just have to give it a good hard tug to pull it out, that's all, instead of it just sliding out easily. Of course, I forgot to put the parking brake on, but that's okay. We haven't opened it up yet. Another thing for new Rapido owners, or used Rapido owners, this piece here, make sure you got a good spring on it. If you don't, make sure before you put the trailer up it is not sitting like that, otherwise you will do a good chunk of damage. It needs to be laying flat. And if you got a working spring, it will be. If you don't, just put that in the back of your mental checklist. So one of the other things I'm going to bring to your attention is you will notice that the little clips in the join, these things, little metal pieces, you'll notice that even though they can slide in, I have them extended out when I'm traveling. And there's a reason for that. And I will show you, when we put the trailer up, what damage can occur if you leave them tucked in like they are right now. Or like I just did to that one. Believe it or not, when you're traveling, this can move just enough, and they actually do rub up against something, and I'll show you the damage that occurred on this trailer when they did. So I always make sure I flip them out before I put the trailer down, and you'll see that in a little later. Let's do this. Hopefully I don't sound too bossy as I bark out instructions. But, so of course the first thing we're doing is we're unclipping the sides here. And, that folds down. It's myself and my buddy Craig who's helped me put this up a number of times that are doing this. So we've got the first lift that we're going to do, and once again I leveled it off and took about ½ an inch of travel off the suspension when I lifted it. When I leveled it off, and that's so that the trailer suspension doesn't lift the base of it once we take the weight of the front of the top of the trailer over. So Craig's going to help me with the initial lift over here. And there we go. And he will come around. And there we are. So for those of you, there's a couple little hooks here, as you know. Now if you remember in the earlier part of the video, I mentioned these over here. And that when I just come over and film these, Elena, that when I put the trailer down, I have these folded out. This stage, I put them ready over here. And the reason I fold them out is because if you don't, you get damage like this. Come take a look at this. I filled that with plastic wood, but if you don't have those folded out while you're traveling, they can gouge there. Another thing that we do is I use these plastic or sort of rubberized mats, and I stick them on the floor here when we travel. And the reason for that is to protect the floor from this edge when the trailer's folded up, because if you don't, you end up getting that mark. Unfortunately, that mark's not going to go away now, but at least can't make it worse. You'll notice that things aren't where they should be in this trailer when it's in transit. It's because the trailer is being stored right now, and quite honestly I don't have it packed for traveling, so there's stuff just all over in it, but we're not going to worry about that. These guy lines, some of you may or may not have them, but they come with the trailer, and what they're designed to do is just to protect you from overstressing the hinges in case you're putting it up in the wind or something and it gets away from you. Let's do this side first, Craig.
Yeah, you want to show this side?
We'll do this side later, or do your side later, but yeah.
Okay.
So basically they just go in and they hook like this, and Craig's doing it on his side as well. You got the little catches at the end, which of course, if you have one of these, you know about. Now before we put this up, there's one thing I want to check, and that is that when we lifted the trailer over and we took the weight of the top half off of the trailer chassis, that the suspension didn't lift the trailer up and that the trailer is still firm on its steadies. So I'm just going to do a quick check on them, make sure that they are actually planted still, because if they're not, you're going to have problems. And if you're really worried about things, you can check your level as well, which I will do quickly. Yeah, I'm happy. The trailer's level this way, and it's probably level this way still too, because there was no adjustments required. Yeah, so the base of the trailer is level. If you don't make sure these steadies are actually planted when you go to do the rest of it, the trailer's going to rock and you will never ever get the thing together properly. So we have a tendency to just grab hold of here. Down here. Now you'll notice that we have put these cloths on. And this is just to protect the trailer when it's folded up. And if you come take a look here, just film one of these, Elena. Mm-hmm. Basically what they are is they're just a felt thing, and we write on them as to where they go. And they just protect the trailer from things like the hinges and stuff, leaving marks in the roof. So Craig is going to come put these sides up for me while I flex the roof. As he goes up, I push the roof out that way to make sure that he clears it. And if you want to just go notch that in, and Elena, if you go around the side, you'll see what Craig's going to do to notch it in. He's going to just grab hold of it, and he's just going to notch it. Mm-hmm. And then we can do the other side. You'll notice that when Craig lifted these up, I stressed the outside wall out as far as I could. And the reason for that is if you don't, you'll damage the wall in here as you fold it in, because it actually goes into a lip. And unless you stress it out like that so that it goes up, and then you bring the lip over it, you'll damage the edge. You'll see me do it again here. So basically with these things, these are just felt with vinyl on it. It's probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch thick. And we lay it down on all the surfaces, like this, and this, and this, so that when the trailer is folded up, those surfaces don't rub and leave indentations in the trailer's interior. It just makes it, it's just a way of preserving the trailer. So Craig and I are going to move the cords over now to the other side. Now at the back here where Craig is, there's all sorts of little things that it can get caught on when you fold it up. And if it gets caught halfway through folding, it's a real annoyance. And the problem is that if you've got the stock lights, it's easy for it to get caught underneath the light. And then when you're lifting, you're fighting like that. So you want it so that you're going to be somewhere up there. So you just have to make sure that when you have this in place, that you're going to try to arrange it so that it's hopefully not going to get caught on anything as it goes up. And if it does, you'll know, because you'll get halfway through and you go, what the heck, it's not moving, and you'll have to deal with it then. So Craig and I are going to lift this up. You'll notice that when we travel, or when we fold it down, it's a good place if you got some extra beach towels to stick them on here. It just protects things, keeps the trailer nice. Okay. And now Craig and I are going to do. Oops. Now, are we caught on something? Yes, we are. Hang on a moment. Okay. Remember how I said that's going to get caught? Can you go to the middle, Craig, and just support? Or?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. I don't know how that happens to me every time, but it does. Okay. Alright, so once again, as Craig lifts that into place, I flex that out so that it doesn't damage the bottom of that panel as we come into place. There we go. And he's going to come around and do this side. Okay. So now comes the part where most people seem to struggle with these trailers, and that is getting everything aligned. And as you can see, if you come down where I am, if you want to bring the camera back to where I am, you'll see that there's an alignment issue up here. So if you want to step back, so the camera's back here so that you can see it. Aim it along the side of the trailer so you can see that the top is not aligned. Yeah, okay, that's perfect, yeah. So when I put these up, or when we put these up, we've been doing this for so long now, I think in the original instructions they said something about trying to use the jockey wheel to adjust this and trying to use the jacks. We've already leveled the base of the trailer. We know it's firm on its steadies and it's not going anywhere. So the base of the trailer is where we want it. It's this side that needs adjustment. And you can get all of this right with just one single adjustment. And that is by using the screws on the side. And what I do is I look at the side that is sticking out towards me. So in this case, it's this side. If we come around the back, around the front, I guess, you'll notice that this side is inwards. So I'm not going to use the adjustment on this side of the trailer. I'm going to use it on the far side of the trailer, the one that is sticking outwards. So we'll go around there and you'll see what I look for. And by the way, I do this adjustment without anybody in the trailer. Make sure nobody's standing in the trailer. I'm just going to grab something to kneel on. But thought I had something here earlier. I'm just going to grab a cloth. I got something here. There we go. No sense in wrecking the old knees. So you will notice that what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the top of the trailer, and what I'm doing is I'm raising this side here, and as I raise it, if you watch the top of the trailer, you'll see when it comes into line. And maybe Craig, if you can help Elena on where we want to be looking at.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, she's right on. Tad more.
And you can see this from down here when you do this.
Excellent.
Tad more. I think that's good.
Okay.
Let's go.
So with this one adjustment, we've brought the trailer into perfect alignment. So at this stage now, I will put the locking pieces in. So I put the one in, and then what I do is I just put my back here, and actually I usually put the other side in. So I'm a bit out of practice here. It's this side I usually put in first. That way I can see what I'm doing. And then I will just make sure that that's in there like that. That in there. There we are. Okay, so if you want to step in here for a moment, Elena, and film from behind me. When I'm doing these, that little niche has to lock into there. So what I do to make it go over there is I just put my hand here and I squeeze. And then I just drop it in, lock it. This one here, just drop straight down and lock it. Now we can do the other side. Once again, I'll put this side on first, that way I can see what I'm doing. And I just lean back a little bit, make it lock in. And to get that to lock in there, I just put my hand up and squeeze. And there it is, it's locked. Make sure that that actually aligns before you pull these down here. Otherwise you will bend this bracket, and that's not a nice thing. And then of course once you have all those in, you put these across. And there we are. Now, for those of you who have never seen one of these before, there is a full kitchen that comes up in here. There's the sink and everything for it. I'm not going to set everything up. This was just a demonstration on how to get the basic trailer up and have it ready for doing whatever you got to do. There are side panels on the larger model that go up, and then there's a piece that goes in here that they latch into. That's all self-explanatory for somebody who's got one of these and has been using it. Now once again, here is our covers that we put on for when we travel. It's just to protect everything. I put a pretty little piece of foam on there, and what we did is we wrote on the covers, place on top of divider wall with a little bit of a map, so it's easy to see when you're doing it. And then for the center one, that's the easy thing. For those of you who have an export and you've got the extra room, that goes up. And then of course your center walls. Lock into place.
Only some models have that.
Yeah. And you'll find there's all sorts of little sticky things all over the place that I've folded up in the trailer that, I don't know why these are here, but they're something we were using for camping, and they found, we laid them down on the mats, and they ended up stuck to it. Not the end of the world. And that is sticking the Rapido up. And yeah, for those of you who wonder where we put stuff, I'm not going to set everything up, the kitchen and everything, but we keep one of the shelving units there. We pack pillows around it. There's one of the shelves. We keep another shelf tucked in here somewhere. It is in there, trust me. And the other shelving unit with the, oh, how did the sink get in there? I guess we decided to put the sink there this time around. Last time we packed this up, it wasn't packed up the way we normally did it. We were in a real hurry, and we put some stuff where I didn't expect it to be put, but okay. I don't know where the other shelf is. It must be in the back. Yeah, no, I must have put it back here. Oh yeah, there it is. Cool, all right. Oh well, it's not where I normally put stuff, but you know, use your own discretion. Try to keep the light stuff at the back of the trailer. Or hit the little red button and it'll turn off.